Well, hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good night, maybe. We don't know what time you're watching this. It could be morning, afternoon, or night, but we're glad that you're watching it. So, if you have been watching along, you know that we have been covering a couple weeks on dating. You guys have had a couple questions there about how Christians should date and approach dating. So, we've covered 2 weeks already. This is going to be our last week on dating, and then next time we're going to talk about singleness, what it is to be single. Is it okay to be single for my whole life? Yes is the short answer. So we're going to cover that, but we've got a couple questions. We don't have necessarily one topic for today other than dating, but we're going to ask a couple questions about dating, right, Maddie?
Yeah.
So Maddie, what's this first question we're going to tackle?
Okay. When should I start dating?
When should I start dating?
When should I start?
So,
First answer is whenever mom and dad say so.
yeah. For some of you guys, your mom and dad may say, hey, let's wait till you're a teenager, 13 to start dating. For some of y'all, it may be 14. Some of y'all, it may be 16. For some of you, it may even be 18. I don't know. But here's the thing. Just because different parents have different rules when it comes to dating, or say that, hey, I know your friends are already dating, but I want you to wait till you're 16 or 18 to start dating. That's okay. Your parents are placed in your life for your good, and they're there because they love you. And the rules that they institute are put in place because they love you, right? And we need to remember that commandment: honor your father and mother. There are going to be things that your parents do that you absolutely abhor, that you don't like. And it may be that dating rule. But remember, you are to honor your father and mother, okay?
In all things.
Yeah.
Unless it's harming you.
All things.
And it's not harming you, but they say no to dating.
Yeah. So that's one answer to that question: when should I start dating? Another answer is really, we can say, when should I start dating? It's when you are mature enough to handle the emotional and even sexual pressure that can accompany a date. When you are out, girls, when you're out with a boy, or boys, when you're out with a girl. We've got a couple questions we can ask with that.
Can you treat a date with respect? So can you treat the person you're on the date with respect the whole time? What's the other one? Do adults in your life think you are ready?
Mm-hmm.
So ask them, like, if they say you're too young to date, like, don't just take that as them trying to be all high and mighty because they're older. Yeah. They're saying that for a reason. They've been there, or they've had friends that have been there and made mistakes. So trust that. And then, can you set and keep healthy sexual standards? Because if your parents are going to allow you to go, they can't stop things if they're not there, and that's on you.
Yeah.
So if you can keep those standards, and the person you're with can keep those standards, okay.
Awesome. But maybe you're ready to start dating at that point then. Yeah, but otherwise, maybe not. There needs to be a little self-control that comes with that. Yeah. Another big question that we get a lot is, should I date a non-believer? Should I date someone who is not a Christian? And you are a Christian. Okay, let's make that clear. You got two non-Christians? Totally fine. Okay, but assuming you are a Christian, you believe in Jesus, should you date a non-believer? Addie, what's the easy, short answer to that? No. I've heard this called missionary dating. Like you hope, well, I'm on a mission to date this person.
It's gonna be my mission skills.
Yeah, so that they can come to know Jesus as their Lord and Savior. And then all of a sudden you're not following Jesus anymore. Whoa. I've heard people call it flirt to convert. Your goal in the dating realm is not flirt to convert. Okay? I want to make that clear. One verse that we want to mention here is 2 Corinthians 6:14. Maddie, do you want to go ahead and read that?
Yeah, it says, don't become partners with those who do not believe, for what partnership is there between righteousness and lawlessness, or what fellowship does light have with darkness?
Yeah, and some of y'all this is kind of a newer version of the Bible. Y'all probably know it as don't be unequally yoked.
Yeah.
And that always confused me. I was like, what the heck does that mean? Like egg yolk?
Egg yolk.
Like, why is the Bible talking about this? I always thought that. I'm not kidding. How do you be unequally yoked? But really, what it means is, don't become partners with those who do not believe. Don't date those who don't believe, and don't marry those who don't believe. Why? Because both of you are carrying two different kinds of influence, and your hope is that you can influence them toward Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, those who aren't following,
and their hope is that they can pull you away from that.
yeah, and that may not explicitly be their hope, but if your goal is to give your heart to that person and their heart is not given to Jesus, you're giving your heart to someone who isn't following Jesus. So your heart is not following Jesus then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to come back to in this, where we'll close out this question, is in Proverbs 4:23. It says, guard your heart. Okay? It's not follow your heart. It's not listen to your heart. It's guard your heart. Okay? Guard your heart above all else.
Yeah, that also, guarding your heart, it's like, don't put yourself in a situation, like when we talked about temptation. Don't put yourself in the situation. If you're in a situation where you're tempted, leave.
Yeah. Get out. Run.
If you need to get rid of friends because they're tempting you, guard your heart. Leave.
Yeah. You need to tap into your inner Forrest Gump and run.
I don't know where these things come from.
I don't either. Okay, next question. Another one that we get a lot. What is it, Maddie?
How far is too far?
How far is too far? I love you had an answer to this one that was just absolutely fantastic. Do you want to give that one?
So philosophic, wasn't it?
Philosophic.
Is that a word?
Cool.
Philosophical.
Words.
Can something be philosophic though?
I don't think so. Philosophical.
I'm gonna make that a word.
You got it. Okay. What is your philosophic answer? Let us
if you're
in.
Thinking, how far is too far? Like that is going in your mind, or you've had to ask that to the person you're with. Like, well, how far? Then you're probably already there.
Yep.
You've probably already passed the
Yeah.
goal.
You're sitting there with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you're kind of thinking like, man, have we gone too far? Well, if you're asking that,
then yes,
most likely yes. You have far surpassed that line. You're looking back like 200 miles back, and you're like, man, that was the line. We definitely crossed that.
And here's why we say that is because if that is a question that's coming up in your mind, you're feeling a conviction about something, and you're feeling a conviction from the Holy Spirit.
Yep, and that's good. Conviction is not your enemy; it's your friend.
That means you're in tune with the Holy Spirit. You're listening and you're waiting for answers. But I mean, what are you gonna do when you get those answers? So you're gonna keep going, or are you gonna stop?
That's the hard part. Like, you're gonna get an answer that you don't want.
Yeah.
Because it feels good. Let's just be honest. It feels good to go past that line. But that doesn't mean it's the right thing, right? It may feel good when you are behind the wheel of an SS Camaro that's pushing like the horsepower that you never believed, and you want to gun that thing and just go as fast as you can, okay? It feels good to do that, but is it right? No, right? You're breaking the law, and it's illegal. So there is a verse that we would like to come back to on this one. It's Philippians 4:8, and it says, whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, if there is any moral excellence, and if there is anything praiseworthy, dwell on these things. Right? So our mind needs to not be on things that are the opposite of that are not true, that are not honorable, that are not just, that are not pure, that are not lovely, that are not commendable, that are not worthy of moral excellence, or not praiseworthy. Okay.
So if your mind is on those things, like when we ask the question, how far is too far? If that's a question you're dwelling on, that conviction that keeps coming up in your mind, you're dwelling on something that's not honorable because you're not married. You're dwelling on something that is not pure because you're not married. Okay, and so it's hard to explain. Like,
Well,
I mean, it's not hard to explain. It's just as a teenager, it's hard to comprehend because we've both been there.
Yep.
And we didn't want to hear these things that we're telling you guys.
Oh, heck no.
Who does?
I remember being in youth on Wednesday night, and I was like, this youth pastor's crazy.
Anyways, but those are...
And now I'm that guy. Sorry.
Those are things that are not honorable. And so you're dwelling on... You're doing the opposite of this verse of Philippians 4:8. Okay?
So, we found this guy that we love the way he says it. He says that you should be asking not how far you can go, but how to treat a date with love and honor as someone with whom you have no marriage covenant. So, let's just be honest. Guys, you're mostly going to be the guys asking this question. Girls, some of you, yes. But I'm a guy.
I'll put a pause. Just because of that comment that you just made. Girls usually ask this question after it happens. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, very transparent, from my own experience and friends that I've had, and then being in ministry for as many years as we've had, girls are always asking this when it's too late. So.
Wow, that's powerful though.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Good to know. So don't ask it too late. As you're entering your dating relationship, okay, when you are a boyfriend and girlfriend, or you're going on multiple dates and you're holding hands, you're giving hugs, which I know you hug friends too, that's fine. But you start kissing, okay? That's like you're opening the floodgates for more things to happen, okay? Not saying kissing's bad, but what is your purpose in these things? Your goal is not to ask the question, how far can I go? Your goal is to ask the question, how can I treat a date with love and honor and respect?
And keep it pure.
Okay? So, ladies, is your boyfriend or your date treating you with love and honor and respect, or is he simply trying to ask you, hey, how far can we go? Guys, same question for you. Okay?
And I don't think that it's just the guys, because I know several girls that, you know, that they're the ones that are tempting the boys. And it's not just...
tempting the boys.
It's not just so explicit like it is with guys sometimes.
I get it.
But it's like... what can I wear that'll make him think of me in this way on my date? You know?
Yes.
Like, that's...
Yeah, that's big. That's
too far.
2 more questions. Let's keep moving. What's the next question?
What if my boyfriend or girlfriend wants to go further than I know I should or am comfortable with?
Okay. So, this kind of comes from the last question. And let's just say, their goal, remember, is not to ask how far they can go with you. Their goal is to ask, how can I respect and love you and treat you with honor? So with that, if they're not leading you toward Jesus and treating you with honor, love, and respect, what should be done?
Break up.
Break up. Okay, that's a little bold, okay? But it needs to be done. If they're not leading you toward Jesus in your dating relationship, they're most likely not going to be leading you toward Jesus in marriage. Yeah. So that relationship needs to end, because if that's not leading you closer to Jesus in dating, it's not going to be leading you closer to Jesus in marriage, so you don't need to get to marriage with that relationship. Let's just be honest about that.
That's truth nugget. Where's my nuggets?
Nougat.
Nugget sons, or like nuggets of gold.
The golden nougat. Last question.
Okay. I'm hurting from a past relationship, so how long should I wait for another?
Are you hurting from a past relationship, man?
No, but for me, it was only 4 days when I met you. So.
You're welcome.
I didn't hurt for very long, apparently.
But she also did not say yes to me when I asked her to go out on a date.
The first time.
And the second.
But I wasn't hurting. I was still hanging out with you. This wasn't an official date.
Okay. So, how long should I wait for another relationship? if I just got out of a bad one or I'm hurting from one.
Let your heart heal.
Let your heart heal.
It's not a song.
Until you're not hurting. Until you don't need any more Band-Aids.
This will kind of segue into next week when we talk about singleness, but don't just search for a rebound. Like, don't.
That's just, nobody wants to be a rebound.
Search for a boyfriend or girlfriend just because you just broke up and you can't be single. But we'll talk about that next week. Singleness, yeah. But let me say this. If you search for a rebound and you go and find one, that's going to be a temporary relationship, and you're causing unnecessary heartbreak for someone else that never asked for that heartbreak. So you're actually being unloving, even though you think you're being loving. Boom. Truth nugget.
Done. Okay. So don't search for a rebound relationship.
Yeah.
Let your heart heal.
And one last thing, and this is not so much for the youth.
Not for the youths.
I mean, parents, if you're watching, I will say
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
It is a ridiculous amount of numbers. I can't give you a specific number, but the amount of times that Patrick and I have had this kind of lesson during Sunday school or just a small group Bible study or discipleship groups with teenagers who are asking these questions. That's where these questions came from, was teenagers. And and then the parents are on a totally different page. They think their child has no interest in these things. They haven't had these conversations yet. Have the conversations now.
Great, sister.
There have been so many times where, I mean, teenagers, and they're already doing these things, and the parents think that their teenager doesn't even know what it is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets awkward for us because then we have to
the dirty.
But
the dirty.
Have the conversations now.
About the dirty.
Talk to your parents, kids. It's okay. It's not weird.
About the dirty.
If you have more questions, you can talk to us too if you want.
Yep.
Well, obviously, we don't care.
Nope. About the dirty.
I apologize.
All right. Hey, y'all have an awesome Christmas. We hope to see y'all at the Christmas Eve service this Christmas Eve, which is December 24th. If you did not know that, I hope you did. Otherwise, you need to go back to elementary school. You don't need to be in youth. At 5, there you go, p.m. at the church. You can also watch on the live stream. Merry Christmas! Hope you get some cool presents. Stay clean. Don't be shady.
Happy birthday, Jesus.